All is love. Is all love is all is love is all.
Hello and welcome to Pray Love, hosted by Deb Maybury and Dave Rogers. Good evening, Dave. How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. How are you feeling?
I'm doing really well. Thanks everybody for watching the show either live or on the recording. Pray Love is a show that was created just over a year ago, and we talk about a variety of spiritual topics. And we're going to bring in our guest tonight because this evening our guest is actually going to do the land blessing from where she is from. So I'll give you the floor.
Thank you so much, and very, very welcome to Heartland. And Heartland has the honor of being on the land of Nisinan and Maidu tribe people. And I want to honor them and honor this land, and being so grateful for really holding us in such a beautiful beauty around the oak trees and the almost like a savanna fields. So thank you so much, and I am so grateful and so honored to steward this land and taking you all kind of with me here now, since I am here for you through the land, Heartland. Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing that. That's really nice to hear your voice and speaking about the land like that. So tonight's guest, her life motto is, "A day with passion is a day lived." She's originally from Sweden, and she's always had a zest for adventures. She spent her first 40 plus years in Sweden before having an opportunity to come to North America. And she's been here. She's just gone back and forth, but she's been on this continent. From what I can find in my research anyways, she can clarify that as we go along. She's had a lot of experience in movement and body work and mind, and she has a passion for golf. What I'm most interested in is the years and the time that she spent teaching trance dances, which is where I met her. She's a yoga teacher. She's involved in yoga, and she started facilitating the trance dances in 2007 and has taught over 1,000 people at the time of whenever this website went up. And we can't forget that she has raised 4 children, one of which she is in a sort of co-partnership, co-creation right now with her current project, which is the Heartland Collective, which is in Northern California, which we're going to spend a lot of time talking about. It's an off-grid solar powered 25 acres, and we're going to get talking about that because it's so interesting what you are doing. I actually have a cousin who attempted to do something similar a number of years ago. So please welcome Anna-Lena Gustavsson, known as Shama. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Shama.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here and to reconnect with you, Deb. And also, we have had some really deep, intimate journeys, and it feels it's still in my heart.
Yeah, just I always like to just briefly say how I, met the people that I know that I bring on as guests, and we were actually in Vancouver. I believe it was the first time that we met at that training. I believe it was in Calgary, Vancouver, I think it was, and we were doing some of that. It's spiritual technology, harmony, integration, accelerated evolution, whatever you want to call it. And we were doing some of that processing. And during that event, there was a trance dance. right? And you were facilitating that. And I had one of these like out of body mind kind of experiences. And I think you called me a spinner. Is that what you called me on the floor?
Yeah, you were a spinner. You were
Tell people what a spinner is. What happens to a spinner?
Well, it's something happens that we kind of come in the vortex. We can say that we were just going around and around and around, and that's why trance dance as a healing module really to be taken really seriously, because you can you more or less leave your body, but you're really entering the body. That's how I want to describe it. You're entering it. There's so many talk about it, leave your body and be enlightened. Now trance dance is more like come into your body and be here and now, and this is where we are. This is where you go infinite deep into it. And when we do that, come into that trance, some people get the spinning wheel and just go round and round and round. Of course, then there need to be facilitators or people, angels, that can kind of see that you're safe and come back, because that's deep.
It was such an interesting journey, and I had done it twice at two other events, and this was the first time that you had facilitated. And I had been sort of like a guide or protector or holding space in the dance. And then I'd also participated in the dance. But in this event, I was solely just there as a participant. So there were no restrictions in my mind where then I had to keep my mind at a certain place because I needed to also guide somebody else, right, when we switched. So this time it was a journey. It was a journey back to an Indian tribe, and I was doing the dance thing, and then all of a sudden I was spinning, and you were there, my protector. Every once in a while I could tell you were in my presence. How did you get involved in, I know we're starting kind of in the middle, but how did you get involved in that?
So one of my teachers is Satyan Raha, and I met him when I did Peak Potentials, one of the Peak Potentials, a big event, and there I was introduced to trance dance, and it brought me into my body so deeply. I said, whatever this is, this is what I want to do. I'm also a physical therapist, so I'm very academically kind of like, it's kind of and I'm not a woo person, so it got. Really got surprised about the power that was. So then a couple of years. So this was in the beginning of the 2000, and then 2004, or some years behind here. 2004, I think I went with Satyan to Hawaii, and we were invited to the final day of a trance dance facilitating program. And I thought, oh my goodness, there is a facilitating program. You can be teacher in this, and we were invited there. So that was my second trance dance. And I said, whatever this is what I want to do. So then I applied, and I got certified, and that was just the beginning. I put all my other stuff on the shelf, because this is what I like, because it just the person that experienced the dance, we need to get the movement into our life again, especially people with there's so much trauma in the world, and everyone experienced a lot of different kind of traumas, and we cannot just sit and talk about it. There need to be a movement, and spirit can guide you to just move. And it could be that you're just shaking, or you can. I mean, some people just are just doing some funny stuff with their hands, but something is moving. They're not sitting. You gotta move. And this is a blindfolded event. So you during 2 hours, you blindfolded. The only way that you can go is inwards, because you cannot touch anyone. No one is. So suddenly you think, am I all alone here? And then you forget about that there are other people, and you one is only one with whatever music, and it's didgeridoos and it's drums, and it's sometimes I always put in maybe some classical music and bird songs, and so people, so all my tracks of music is all created before me feeling into the participants who's going to be there.
It was so powerful. I know that some people, they couldn't even stay in the room. I was aware that there was a sense of some people leaving, and the thought of being blindfolded for 2 hours. And of course, the lights go down, and there were pillars in that room where we were that time. And I just couldn't wait for the lights to go down and you to stop getting the instruction. It's just this separation from all the stuff and going inward, and I just loved it, and I didn't want to stop. I mean, I remember you trying to get me to.
You did not want to stop.
But that other part of me and that other part collectively, because it was like, now we're going to start to come back, and I remember just spinning, and then you kind of getting me down, and then you left me, and then I came up, I think 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
but I just absolutely love it and honor you for that work, because I think I did some healing work there without even knowing it. I had no connection to trance dance healing. It was I just love the sensation. But
there's spontaneous healings that can happen, and I'm always since I'm academically educated as a physical therapist, and I'm really cautious to say, oh, this is a healing thing. Things can happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but it can happen, and be how open we are. There's some people that never experience anything.
Exactly.
And some people experience a lot. So
for sure. I think that some people have profound healings. Some people go on a trip they don't want to go on, and some people it's just like, well, that was nothing. They just, there. But anyways, Dave, let's hear your voice. Yes. Have you done a trance dance, Dave?
I've done a few different types. Whirling dervishes, and then in India, we did some work with Osho, and they do dynamic meditation. And so they're, especially the one that's in the pyramid. And there's also a time dynamic there that you can either go into the past or into the future, or be in the present. And I guess I was curious from your perspective, when you've done the trance dance, did you have an experience that was just such a deep inner, or was it a expansive outer experience for yourself? And was there some type of healing that you could share with us today?
For me, I got into me. I got into my human body, and I got present into this beautiful, at the same time expansive. But I wasn't. But I was very grounded. I got really grounded. So I know it can go both ways, but I was tribe, I was African, I got my roots. I knew I was the root from the rhythm of the African drums. That was me, and I got really powerful, really powerful.
Beautiful. I almost feel it. I feel that you just dug deep into Mama Africa. It's just like Mama Africa joined you at the root chakra, and then just went through each of your chakras, and it was just such a ecstatic experience.
Absolutely, and that is it's when we get a direct experience. I remember all the II intensive, the illumination intensive that I have participated in. I always hear Satyan's or Angela's voices say, "Don't get lost in the sensations. Don't get lost in the sensation. Be present into where you are, because the sensations is so cool. Oh, you get all the sensations, and you get lost in that, and then we can't really see what's really the message. What is it really that is whispering, and what is the ancestors whispering to me? If I start to feel kind of high with all these sensations in my body. So that's that's why the movement is so important.
It's so interesting. I didn't make that distinction previously. I think if I close my eyes, I can be right there again. And we did that experience in 2013, I believe it was. And I never thought about that separation of the sensations. What I recall is like being so much in that experience, and where I was, like, it was like I was an Aboriginal and a native here on this land. And I could feel the headdress, and I could see the fire and around the campsite and the people around the perimeter. And it was, I was leading this dance. I don't know. I never tapped into like the feeling or the sensation to get carried away into that. I know when we were turning in that night and going up the hallway, that we all got laughing, and I started spinning down the hallway, and I couldn't stop spinning down the hallway to go to our room.
Yeah.
So well, that's hard to come back.
How the Sufi dancers, they get their altered state to and they use the swirling.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just find it fascinating. Is it something that you're still doing? Like, would you do a group down at Heartland?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. I've done several here and at Collab that I always have. And what we now have an 18 days permaculture design course here that's going on right now. People are here for 18 days and learn about permaculture, and it's beautiful. And it's so packed because it's very academic too, but they also get some project doing. But I next year, when we will have it again, I would love to have a trance dance with just when they come, just kind of get away from whatever they got away from, and then at the end, so you have two. And then you can see how I am the human being here that needs to take action into something that's going to happen here. We cannot just sit and hum and sum. Or I say, I mean, there needs to be an action, and we are needed. We need to wake up. We need to wake up.
Well, on that note, maybe share, how did it come about that you ended up, you and your son, creating Heartland? How did that happen? Where were you? And then all of a sudden he says he has this project idea.
Yeah, so my son, he is an entrepreneur, and is also an artist, a graphic designer, and he's multifaceted, and he just got tired of the corporate world, and went up here to Northern California, up into the mountains, and starting to do some farm works, and said to me, come up and see what it is, because we lived in Southern California. So I got up here and saw a little what he was doing, and this is good. And then we found this land, and I came to this land, and I just fell in love. Oak trees, rolling hills. It was very. I got really almost like a Swedish feeling, and home. It was. I felt home, and of course then it gets to be 100 degrees here in August, September. We don't have that. So
And that's home. That's your place where you live on the land.
Yes, that's my cabin. Yeah, and this is our entrance, and this is so Collab Campout is really of a people to come here and learn about building and inner work, outer work, transformation. Here you have those are our pillars, and then we have beautiful music, and even the musicians are with us in some of the outer work, the building, and so everything here except for this cabin and the barn that was here before, but all our big yoga deck and a lot of our other decks, and it is built helped from volunteers and from people that come to the festivals.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm tired of going to festivals. I thought, let the festival come to me.
Exactly. Dave?
You're in the middle of a program right now, and so what are some of the things that are discussed and shared, and why do people come to experience 18 days in Northern California?
Yeah, so this is a specific certification program. It's 18 days. I think it's 70 hours that needs to be held to get the certification as a permaculture design person. And there's 12 different principles of permaculture design. Permaculture is to permanently have a culture that we're looking at nature. How is nature? What is nature doing? It's rebuilding, and it's not just oh, I don't like you, I don't like you, and oh, I you know it's so permaculture is really observe, step back, and take action for whatever, and that could be in social permaculture too. And how do we interact? So the people here now, there are 30 participants. There are now 18 days. They live in tents and good food, but it's still they have to be together for 18 days. And yeah, it's very interesting.
Wow. That sounds like an amazing experience.
Yeah, yeah, they are very they're very both thankful and filled of academia because there's a lot of lectures. Yeah, and then of course I have free range chicken, so the chicken comes in and participate too, and the participants can sit and hold chickens or the cats, and so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Are they learning how to really have a green life experience? Because I noticed that there was some very much it's the very green friendly, Mother Earth friendly. What are the key principles? Maybe 3 or 4 of the key principles that are taught. Because I did notice that you're off the grid, and for some people in Toronto, they don't know what off the grid means. Perhaps you could share a little bit what that means in Northern California.
Yeah, so off the grid is that we are not connected to the grid. So we have solar system, and we have our own well, and it's 45 minutes to nearest town. So it's not that, oh, I forgot the milk, or there's a lot of plannings here, and our electricity is on solar. So you turn off the light switch, and it's a very interesting coming back to nature kind of lifestyle. Not at all fit everyone. I grew up in this. I didn't know if I was going to like this, but I love it. There's only bird songs and owls and coyotes. I like those sounds. I don't like sirens.
Beautiful.
So what was it like growing up in Sweden compared to where you are now?
Sweden, what's the difference? We're very, Swedes are very practical. All of us knows. I mean, I think all of us knows how to cook and sew, bake. We're very, and then we have a full-time job, and we raise all the kids. And I mean, Swedes are really very good and in everything. So there's a lot of stress, as you can understand. I did have a trance dance in Sweden, and that was a really interesting experience because, as I said, we're very much academia. We want to know what things are. If you can touch it, it exists. If you can't touch it, that's yeah. But it was welcome because they are very stressed because everyone has to be so good, and that's a very. And then we have the climate is a big issue, and it's maybe just 3 weeks of summer, or maybe if we're lucky, it could be 8 weeks. But I mean, we have a long winter, and but the nature is beautiful, beautiful. A lot of rain. Then there's beautiful nature.
You know, it's always been on my bucket list. Sweden and Finland, and I've never been there.
Yeah.
So you did the physical therapy, and then you transitioned into the yoga. Was that the process?
Yeah, because when I came here, they wasn't my physical therapy was not. I couldn't be licensed here in California.
Oh, it wasn't recognized.
Was not recognized, and I mean, I had at that time 30 years of experience, and I didn't want to go back to college with a 20-year-old kind of. So that's why I took my yoga teacher training. So my clients they got a full on really good yoga because I was also physical therapy educated. So that was good.
Those things definitely go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do.
Dave practices yoga out in the park at 4 a.m. Dave?
This right now, it's actually beautiful at 7:30 in the morning with the sunrise, and it's just going and doing sunrise salutation.
Yes, and salutation.
Absolutely, just beautiful right now. And the first half an hour, the sun is very good for the eyes. It's like giving a massage to the retina and the eyes and the body, and it's just absolutely delightful. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that this summer.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
You must have some incredible sunsets and sunrises where you are.
Incredible. Did you get some on maybe? Because I think I have some on my Facebook photo album. We have amazing sunsets. And
what would you invite people who don't go see the sunrise or sunset? What would be an enticing few words of advice from you to our listeners today to go and maybe rekindle or start a new relationship with the sunrise and sunset? And what gifts do you think they'll receive?
Life. It's such a life-infused start of the day. Life-infused, and it's like having the warm clothes by the side of your bed. So just put that on and just get out and see it coming, because it's so warm and nice in your bed. You don't want to get up, so just have it very close, and then, because as soon as we get up and get out there and see it, I think it's a miracle. When the sun rises and then when the sun sets and the colors. Well, I've also been in Sweden and seen the midnight sun, and that is so. You see the sun go down, and then it doesn't go down more, it starts to go up. The energy in that moment is felt, physically felt. There's kind of a stop, everything stops, and then the sun goes up. So
all I know is the puppies have been getting up earlier and earlier. I'm up before the sun.
Yeah.
It reminds me, what you've just said reminds me of Vortex. Would you share with our listeners a little bit about your experiences with Vortex and how we might be able to tap into the Vortex, particularly in spring, and creating, I believe that you would share with through movement to create vortices and going in and out of vortices, and how that can be healing and therapeutic.
Yeah, I think if everyone can go out and just sit under a tree, very close to it, sit with the back towards the tree, close the eye, and start listening. When we start listening, then we start feeling, and we can feel that we're part of the tree, and we're part of the breath, the rhythm, the vortex of what it's I can hear the rhythm, and that's what people experience here now in the pandemic. We have had 5 of our glamping tents open for Airbnb, and people come out here and they cry because they have been so stressed in the city, and coming out here and just listen to the birds and sit under a tree has been so healing for someone. And the kids run around, they can feel it too. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Dave, are we? Oh, I was gonna say, we're on that cusp of that 33rd magical moment. Gonna start right just about now.
Oh.
It's 5, 4, 3.
Clearing those chakras.
Oh, yeah.
So we have this special thing that we do at the 33rd minute, magical moment. So the question tonight is, can you share a magical moment in your life that you had while doing something that you loved?
Well, Dad had to go to the most recent thing. I've had many magical moments with the thing that I love, but I had a hole-in-one. I love it.
Today?
No, in October. In October.
Fantastic.
That was
amazing.
Yeah. And that's 1 in 12,000 that has that. But the feeling of that, and that was the perfect shot, the perfect feeling, one with the ball, one with everything. And I just knew that, okay, this is it. And it was in the hole. And the hole is just this big.
Exactly. Exactly. What was the distance on the hole?
It was 135 yards.
That's amazing, right? So what iron are you using there?
Well, I really didn't use, and I used a 7-wood.
7-wood? Okay. That's amazing. I've never had, I used to play golf a lot.
Yeah.
I never had very close, but I was with somebody one time and you couldn't really see the hole. You could see the top of the flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she took the shot and we went down and we're like, okay, where did that bounce to? Right.
Yeah.
We're looking around. The last place that we looked was actually in the hole.
In the hole. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's the people that are around are more excited than the person that got it, because you just it's so amazing. So it's really hard to kind of, whoa, that happened, and then it comes. But that was really magical.
It is for sure. You think of how many people have played that hole. You know, and that is that's a very doable distance, right? And how many people would have been in all different positions in and around there, and how few actually get a hole in one. It's pretty incredible. Thank you for sharing that. Dave, you want to answer the question?
Yeah, I'm going to bring my miracle to today. It's just the last 2 weeks has been miraculous for me because my mom got a new phone and she has really started to enjoy walking, and she's measuring her steps now. Yeah. And it's just absolutely miraculous that every day now she's asking me, so you want to go for a walk? And so we've been going for 1 or 2, 3 walks a day now. And she's getting 7, 8, 10,000 steps, which she's never wanted to go for a walk. And it's just miraculous. And now she's sort of saying, so how many steps did you do today? It's like, and she's been doing more than I have the last 2 weeks. And it's just, she's 81 and she's just doing all these new things now. And I'm just really thrilled. And it's miraculous. It truly is. When people say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, yes, you can. Like, and another group I'm involved with in Hong Kong, it's 80 is the new 50. Okay. And it's just, she's doing it right now. And I'm so inspired. So that's my miracle for the month of April so far.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
That's so funny. You've inspired them. You've inspired your parents.
And over to Deb.
Yeah.
Me, a magical moment recently. There's been a handful of them, but what I'm going to say, one is it's just hilarious because everybody that knows me knows that I have Sage, and he just turned 9 months. And when I was considering getting Sage, I thought he was going to be a little bit small because the breeder said typically those Yorkies, they don't get any more than 7 pounds, and like they're 6, 7, maybe he's small, they might be 5. Well, we just weighed him again on Friday, and he's 9.4 pounds. And I wanted one that was a little bit bigger, but I thought, well, I'll settle, like if he's 7, he can still fit in the basket on my bike and everything. And he's still big enough, he's small enough to kayak. I can bring him into my life. But I just was worried because I'm being so tiny. And now he hasn't stopped growing, and he's almost grown out of the basket on my bike. Now it's like, stop. So it's just, it's incredible to me how I had this vision of this dog that I wanted, and then he turned into it. It's, how does that happen? And the breeder thinks that he got a gene, because they used to be bigger. Yorkies used to be bigger, and then they slowly bred them to be smaller. But she thinks she's like, I can't believe he's 2.4 pounds more than what he's supposed to be.
Wow.
So how does that happen?
30% bigger.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Can you imagine that? That's every time people on the street, you don't see him for like a week or 2, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's still growing. It's like, I don't know when he's going to stop, but it's been a lot of fun.
That's fun. What's the name? What's her? Is it a her?
It's a boy. His name is Sage. He's going to be a wise sage.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Tell us a little bit about all the animals you have that are more on the family side. Yes. So you got a lovely cat. What else have you got roaming around the heartland?
And then I have 14. Unfortunately, one died the first day of our permaculture design course. One died, so we got right into a ceremony. What do we do with our animals that dies? And so we had a beautiful funeral or ceremony for our beautiful Maria. That was her name. And so I had 13 chickens, and so I get a lot of eggs. So everyone likes eggs. And I have 2 other cats. So there are 3 cats on the property. We don't have any dogs here because we have had a lot of accidents with dogs chasing the chickens, and some have killed them. and many people really unfortunately don't take care of their dogs. They say, oh, my dog is not going to do anything, and we have had that. So we have, if you have a dog with you to our property, you have to have it on leash. So that's that. We have 2 horses that are retired, that goes on the upper part of the property, and that's kind of, now it makes it like a farm. Then it's a farm. You have horses, you have a farm.
Absolutely.
And then there are cows roaming around outside. So it's really a farm life.
Beautiful, beautiful. With the people that are there currently, what are the characteristics of these people? Like, what brings them there, and what do they like? I mean, you spoke a little bit about it, but really, are they going back to try to create communities, or like, where do they live? Is it a getaway, a holiday?
Well, we have a program that's connected to the woofing. The woofs, a word, world, organic, something that they can go around the whole world and come and experience 1 week or up to a month of work trade. So we have people from all over the world coming here, and that's usually young people in their 20s, between 20, 25, 30. And we've had some older ones, but that wanted to learn something new, wanted to step away from what they did and learn a little more about living, especially here off the grid, and just building stuff. And taking care of the land, and weed whack, and whatever needs to happen. And then we eat together, and we have meetings together, and we have an educational program also. So we ask people when they come that they all read the 4 agreements. So we have a common language together, and then after that we have Brené Brown's Braving the Wilderness. So we are an educational center, kind of, also. So that's driving. I think we've had what did Anders is my son, that is an amazing kind of injection of willingness to do whatever is needed to done. Lead, be out and weed whack, or be out and creating systems, or whatever needs to be done. And he said, I think we have had 300 or 400 hours of 3, 4, or what? No, that doesn't sound right, but a lot of hours from the volunteers that has been here over the 3-4 years that we've been doing this.
If our listeners aren't familiar with the 4 agreements, what was it about the 4 agreements that you chose to be one of your key books for everyone to read, and what do you love about that book?
Yeah, so the 4 agreements is do not take anything personal. That is they are in different order, but I think that is really good, because to look into, oops, I took that personal. So that is one of the agreement. The other one, do not make any assumptions. So how often don't we just assume things instead of maybe asking? And be impeccable with your words. Don't say that you're going to do something if you don't do it. And always do your best. So those are, it's very simple principles. And what he has written another book with the 5th agreement, and that is be skeptical but listen. So does it make sense? So I can listen to, yeah, that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. So now be skeptical and start asking questions.
Beautiful. No, I absolutely love that book. I've shared it with many people also. I just think there's so much wisdom in each of them, And it's so beautiful. I believe it does resonate with different people in different ways. Yet that one, be impeccable with your words, is just such a, I love it so much. It's just, it's something that I have, if I had a wish, it would be one of the books that would be taught in school, because it really is. So it's, there's a moral compass to it. There's a reality, a truth that tends to be wobbling in different parts of the world right now and in different parts of society. So thank you. It sounds great. It's really, really great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, words definitely shift lives, right? I listen to people all day long where, you know, they've experienced different things, but it's the words that somebody else has said that impacts them. And also I was listening to, of all people, Kevin O'Leary this week, him talking about as direct, just be honest and truthful. And sometimes it's harsh, but you just speak the truth. But he has a bit of an edge that I don't think is implied in that book.
Something that we also do here now is nonviolent communication, which also for me is it's a way of life and a new way, a new language that we're not taught, and asking about our own needs and other people's needs, and the empathy. How much empathy can I put into myself and towards another, instead of being like what we've been taught is a total different kind of language. We haven't been taught to ask for what we need or listening to what other people needs. Even the worst enemy, there is a need behind that. Why is he an enemy? And why don't I like that person? What is the need that I need to fulfill so I can see empathically about that person is maybe only wants to be seen. That's really, really beautiful. So that's what we are also adding on now.
Right. Well, within that, what skills do you utilize in order to help somebody, you know, bridge that difference between, like, that person is just somebody that I don't want to be connected with because of their energy, and you're saying open to that person, and how does one do that?
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to go into myself and say, well, why am I stimulated negative about that? I'm taking out challenge, that word. Why am I now triggered? That's why am I triggered? I'm taking the word trigger out of my vocabulary. I'm saying, what stimulates me negatively or what stimulates me positively, because that lifts me up better than when I say, oh, I'm so triggered by you. I'm so stimulated negatively. So what is it that stimulates me? And I take more responsibility for, there's something within me that the need is not met within me. And that could be, I feel I don't matter to you, or whatever it could be.
So what I just heard was the shift of the word that could be, instead of being triggered, to be stimulated, could be a real beautiful way to transform the transactions that are going on.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
That's helped me a lot, and then I always get a little gigglish when I say, "Oh my gosh, I know I said trigger. I'm stimulated, and it's already over because I'm stuck laughing."
Right. You've interrupted the pattern, and the pattern interrupt can be very useful.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm very curious about the trance dance. So what would be like something unique that happened or unusual that happened at an event? Was there any situations like that? Or
I have many examples, but I have one beautiful example. I had a live drummer, and but I also had a playlist. And he had he knew the playlist, and so he could drum, get it a little deeper with the drums, and everything was fine. But the playlist or the equipment was outside the room, so I just trusted that the speakers or that everything was going to be good. So the playlist was going, and suddenly the playlist just started to play something totally different. A waltz, a classical music, and I'm looking at my drummer, and and everybody is, doing their thing and dancing, and they have no clue what's happening because they are so totally in their journey, and I'm getting so stimulated, and I had to get out of the room, and then I couldn't find my glasses. I couldn't see what was going on. So I got into the room again, and I just looked at the drummer, and he said, "Okay, we'll just go with this." So then I had that within me, and the trance dance was over, and people were laying down, and then we had the sharing. Sometimes I do sharing, sometimes I don't, but I felt that I really wanted to do sharing things. And then somebody need to say something. Oh yeah, I need to say something. Was this woman? And I think, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna be scolded about this terrible experience. And she said, thank you so much. When that beautiful waltz music came on, my grandfather showed up, and I had a beautiful dance with
Wow.
him. We were crying. I mean, it was so
Goosebumps.
so beautiful, and that is one of the absolute most amazing stories that happened. Just let it play out. And that is life. Okay, something happens. Let it play out. And yeah, but it was
It's so interesting because the first thing that comes up is like, oh no, like,
yeah,
oh, like that's all, like that music is just like that beat, and then all of a sudden you're
yeah. I always said it was so. Yeah, I know. It was, and that is one of the few trance dances that I remember, because I've done so many and facilitated so many, and I'm so in it, so I don't remember. I remember you, Deb, because that was also very, very special. But most of it is just a beautiful journey people are having, and I'm trying to get as little infiltrated with them as possible, just holding the space.
Yes, for sure. That's an art in of itself. You know, I'm a spinner because sometimes I will end up in a completely different direction in my bed. Yeah. So I think I'm spinning, like I'm traveling. There was one time I went to bed, so usual, and I woke up and I was 90 degrees across. I was at I went to stay with some people that I know, and I was down in the basement by myself, and I woke up, I was across the bed in the opposite direction. I got up, I went to the washroom, and I noticed how cold the floor was, which was odd because I had on these long, thick stockings up to my knee because I knew the place was cold. So I came back, I could not find those socks. In the morning, I stripped the bed. They were in the far corner. Like, so if I was laying this way, I woke up that way. The socks were, I can't do this at the opposite. They were way tucked in the corner. Like I couldn't reach there. I had to have jammed my feet totally there, spun around. So what does that mean for me, teacher?
Well, it just means that you travel. I like Eckhart Tolle say. He say, why do you have to label everything? Just accept it as it is.
I do.
Yeah. And you don't have to remember or asking why is this happening? Yeah, it happened. Okay. So yeah, but what does it mean? We are meaning-making machines. And yeah, we don't have to have the meaning of everything.
Well, I find it just amazing just to be in that space. Like the other night, I woke up and I was almost like laying across where my pillows are.
Wow, you
So
are
I'm
traveling.
like,
Yeah.
Because I woke up, so my bladder was full. I really had to go to the bathroom, and I went to sit up, and I'm like, whoa,
Whoa, yeah. Maybe go in a little with lucid dreaming. Maybe that's your new thing.
Oh, I've been doing that for a long time. I've often thought it would be very interesting to put a camera in the room and see what's going. But maybe I wouldn't do it. I'm not sure. I could use a lot of digital footage. I'm not sure where we are for time. Dave, do you have a...
I have a quick Quiller question, just because people right now that I'm talking to are looking for perhaps spring cleaning in their eating and their nutrition. What are some of the principles of eating for vitality from Heartland Collective that you might be able to share? What do you guys suggest people to eat, and what are some of the Heartland perspectives?
Yes, so I was a vegetarian for 15 years, and I felt that I just couldn't eat as much vegetables or whatever the protein, because I just get full and I didn't get enough. So I've started to eat fish again, and I don't eat chickens because I have a very close connection with chickens. I can eat turkey because I don't have a connection with them. So I'm very minimalistic. Well, I think our portions, if you just look at our portions, we could be so much healthier. We don't need to eat so much, and I just eat one a cooked meal per day. I don't eat two. That's somebody. I eat lunch and then I eat dinner. And now during this course, I feel we're eat so good. I mean, this course is really treating us with a lot of beautiful food. I do not think that we need to eat some. We eat too much. That's what I think. Portion wise, and chewing. It will chew things. If you chew everything 40 times, you will be
Beautiful. Thank you.
I like that idea, actually. And I've heard that before, but I forgot about it. Is that everything that you put in your mouth, you have to chew it, and you have to count a certain number of times when you're trying to manage what you're eating, obviously.
Exactly.
That's a very good exercise to do, right? For sure. Well, listen, any final thoughts that you'd like to share this evening before we say goodnight?
Well, I do have one more passion, and that's tango. And so if anyone will just put on a beautiful tango music and just to start moving, and that is soul. The soul will be really nurtured by that. Yeah, I've never had so deep intimacy connection as what I have when I dance tango.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Do you have any dreams of dancing in different parts of the world, or have you done all the different places to go
I've
dance?
just golfed around the world. Maybe I should tango around the world.
Maybe that's the next 20 years.
That is a good idea. Now you put that in my head.
There you go. Beautiful.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, listen, thank you so much. And, it was so great to connect. We had a conversation a week or so ago, and it's just been so nice to connect. I mean, when we originally met, we met in a situation where we were both doing what we loved in the trance dance. And then also we did that trauma work together at that same event. So I feel this special connection. So it was just really nice. And I'm so happy that you're doing what you love, and you continue to do so much for the environment, and you're a healer. And I just love sharing the space with you. So thank you so much for
come out. Come and
I know. Well, I want to. Like, I was down at what was that place? Where the Peaks used to have the events down in California. Joe's. No, I forget the name of the place. But I I loved going down there, and it would be just so wonderful to. One of my another thing that I want to do, bucket list, is to actually drive across Canada down through California and around the perimeter and back up again. So that's on my bucket list.
Good.
But
Good.
that's not going to happen anytime soon. COVID. So, but anyways, it was wonderful to talk to you. Thanks, Dave. Always a pleasure to share the forum with you. And thanks to everybody watching Pray Love tonight. And
thank you so much.
Yes, we will go out with the beautiful Rosemary Phelan, and every once in a while, I deep appreciation to Jason LaPrade for the creation of this song. His wife, who's passed, Rosemary Phelan, shares her voice and her energy on this beautiful song. So, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Love is all is love is all.